I will happily die on the hill that couch co-op gaming and jamming party games with your friends in person is the best way to experience games. Maybe it's because you can experience all the laughs and tears in real time. Or maybe it's because Kevin can't hide behind his screen and I am fully capable of becoming a controller-wielding trebuchet when he decides to be a clever little bastard. G'day, if you happen to be new here, my name's Fizz, aka your local game dealer, and it's no secret, I love co-op games and I've covered quite a lot of them on this channel. But hey, there's always time to talk about some more, so let's go ahead and cover another batch of games that you can play with your hopefully existent friends on the couch. Dysmantle is two things. Firstly, it's a paradise for people that like to break things, and secondly, it's very addicting. This one is a split-screenable survival game that takes the usual monotonous tasks of scavenging for resources in your typical survival game and turns it into a very real, satisfying experience as you break down 99% of the world and then churn those gathered resources through a very robust and enjoyable crafting system. This game really manages to make the apocalypse bittersweet. The world is dangerous and full of foes, which you'd think would make the game stressful, but no, somehow it's not. Somehow it's just incredibly rewarding and equally relaxing. The story is sparse but intriguing, and there's just something that's really hard to put into words about this game. It is a sneaky gem for survival lovers. Pico Park 1 and 2 are deceptively cute little games about bipedal walking cats that wish to grab keys and progress through it like a merry band of feline friends. And that, my pal, that right there is an elaborately laid trap. Pico Park is actually an excruciating puzzle game. The premise is simple, yeah, get the key, go to the next level, but what is not simple is finding out that your guy Steve is actually a demon who is hellbent on sowing chaos either intentionally or via terrible communication skills. It's actually more of a social stress test than a puzzle game, but that is what makes it top tier. It's also just great if you need a game with simple controls for those that might not be deep into gaming, and it's also just a perfect excuse to morally correctly punch someone. And if you're willing to play it with a loved one, maybe take out life insurance first. Ship of Fools is a game that features wet, hard wood, slimy tentacles, and two people are ready to shoot. Now, if you wouldn't mind getting your gutter brain out of the trash, you little freak, this is a ship-bound seafaring co-op roguelike, where you and your friends will board the Storm Strider and unfurl the sails to ride upon the high seas. Waters that are full of seaborne foes that will test your jolly cooperation in frantic battles full of cannons and panic. This incredibly fun roguelite lets you adjust the course through the never-ending storms to continue the fight across endless seas so that your home may one day be safe from the aquapocalypse, I can never say that correctly, and all of its hungry sea denizens. It's definitely refreshing to see more roguelites being built for local split screen in mind, and Ship of Fools with that in note is an absolute blast if you want to play on the couch. You know how walking around and doing basic tasks in everyday life is already quite difficult? Like sometimes getting out of bed is pretty tough. So what happens if we cram you into a 1970s cosmonaut suit, remove gravity, and then ask you to do all the basic tasks around a space station floating in Earth's orbit? And with that, welcome to Heavenly Bodies, a physics-based ragdoll game set in space. Everything about this experience is just simply brilliant. You'll find yourself playing QWOP all over again as you pull your floating body around a spaceship with hilariously difficult controls that make even opening a door tough. Now let me know if you even know what QWOP is or if that's me showing my age. Every limb is controlled individually, so you best believe it is a struggle. Water some plants? That's nightmare difficulty. Nothing is secure in this game, not even your airlocks, because you may find yourself one awkward arm flap away from the cold reaches of space. If you got a bunch of friends, a TV, and some phones laying around, one of these is definitely more likely than the other, because who am I kidding? Phones are basically the out-of-body digital heart of most of you these days. Jackbox Party Pack, you probably already know of this one, but in case you don't, it is a brilliant collection of games that you can play with just your TV, phones, a room code, and a link. It is absolutely full of things to do, such as drawing, social deduction, lying, making up nonsense, and trivia, among many other games that will always be sure to elicit a laugh. And it is just as funny as it is versatile because it can be played across a wide spectrum of groups. The hardest thing about the game is deciding which ones to buy because there's like 10 of them now, so I'll do you a solid. 3 and 7 are the best in my opinion, so maybe get those. Now this video might be a massive collection of games, but UFO 50 in itself is full of 50 more games because it is a collection of 50 single and multiplayer games of all genres. You've got platformers, shooters, roguelites, RPGs and puzzlers that are all, get this, not mini or micro games. They are all complete experiences of varying lengths, and breaking the fourth wall, all of the games within were created by a fictional 80s video game company and feature gorgeous modern 8-bit bangers that have many verses and co-op games to choose from. UFO 50 is kind of hard to beat on the value proposition. You are simply sure to find something that you will like in here, and if you don't believe me, this was one of 2024's highest rated games on many sites for good reason. Sackboy, A Big Adventure is probably the most, no, it's definitely the most expensive game on this list. It's also probably one of the only AAA titles that will grace it. This one is a huge and charming 3D platforming adventure following along with our knitted hero Sackboy, as he takes off on a rather generic tale about defeating a villain from activating this device called the Topsy-Turvy, which will morph Craftworld into a nightmarish hellscape. You kinda get the gig, but hey, who cares about that? That's more of a background to this game's intoxicating levels of enjoyment with its beautifully crafted worlds. Much like It Takes Two, most of the levels introduce cool little power-ups that alter the sections as you play. You'll be jumping from platforming to random fun but menial tasks as often as the camera changes perspective. This one is great, and it's even better if you can snag it on sale because the price is probably the only downside. Magicka 2 is a game all about wizards and the grand epic tale of defeating evil to save the world. Who am I kidding? This game will see you and your party of up to 4 clumsy mages learning magics, firing off said magics, and then combining them intentionally or unintentionally to make magic, and more often make yourself go boom. You see, whilst you may have 1,000 spells at the tip of your wand, you do also have to overcome this cheeky little thing called friendly fire, which is much easier said than done because Kevin, once again that little devious bastard, can't help but want to be the damn fire lord over there. And you, unfortunately, are rather flammable. Oh yeah, Cat Quest 3 is a game all about cats that happen to be pirates going on a quest. The only thing that will hit you harder than how cute this little action RPG is the sheer amount of perfect puns it throws at you. I mean, you're a privateer hunting pirates in the Caribbean, and also searching for the North Star, which is this long-lost mythical treasure, but cats that are pirates. Come on, is that not a selling point? This one's roughly a 10-hour experience, but trust me, it's pretty goddamn good. Even if it is rather easy, it is an absolute high-quality blast. And if you feel like adding some of man's best friends into the mix, Cat Quest 2 removes the pirate aspect and adds dogs that tell a tale about an unlikely team-up to defend Feline Guard from an army of dogs descending on it. Both of these are very charming games that anyone will enjoy. Stardew Valley, yeah, why be a real farmer when you can get addicted to doing things on the farm game? Hell, why not take it one step further? Forsake all human contact in your life as you try to get into the have loving, possible romantic connections with other laid-back digital small-town farm folk. This is your possibly fictional girlfriend's favorite game, and if it is, she has good taste, and it's inevitable that you will be one day forced to play it with them sooner rather than later. So maybe just give up on the whole avoiding it and just do it now. Just don't tell her about you possibly cheating on them with a digital farm character. Who am I kidding? This is a local co-op, so you'll be blatantly cheating in front of each other. Stardew Valley is like crack. It's an addicting experience that follows your player character as they inherit a rundown farm in Stardew Valley. Before long, you'll have met all of the residents of the town, and you'll care about their lives more than your real friends. Now, whichever evil genius decided to make Jump King a co-op game by tying 2 adorable penguins together and then tasking them to go up a mountain together knew exactly what they were doing. Bread and Fred is a relationship dismantling gem of a game that is simple and brutally effective in its highs and its very unfortunate lows that will see you face planting off the side of a cliff together. I hope your bonds are as inseparable as the rope that binds these 2 Arctic bros, because I promise you there will be some strain on your friendship and or relationship on the climb. This game requires coordination and cooperation, along with timing and finesse, which makes it just a great time overall if neither of you are prone to violent outbursts. And if you are, hey, maybe just focus on the fact that your 2 titular characters are just really cute penguins. Yeah, focus on that one. Towerfall Ascension is one of those hilarious platforming party games that make you want to simultaneously laugh until your stomach falls out, and also turn your controller into a shuriken to KO your friend who keeps filling you full of arrows. This one is all about archery and the beautiful golden age formula of versus game where the controls are simple. This game is easy to learn but hard to master. However, one of you, guaranteed the person that suggested you play this in the first place has a fucking archery PhD in their back pocket and will go on to power fantasy everyone like he's Legolas in an archery competition against toddlers with no arms. Oh hey, and if the versus mode isn't quite what you want, there's also a co-op quest mode that'll let you team up instead so you can stop getting absolutely dogpiled. Carrying on with the versus game, Nidhogg is another one of those golden age verses with real simple controls. There's pretty much 2 buttons to it. It's all about 2 stickmen that want to go polar opposite directions to reach their respective goals, and they will do that by any means necessary. Dodging, dipping, diving are an option, but you'll mostly be slashing, stabbing, and hurling your blades to advance in this very violent tug-of-war dance. It's all about finesse, your fencing skill, and your ability to take advantage of quick little mistakes. Now, whilst I do find Nidhogg 1 to be a better game overall, the second game does add extra things like a bow, a dagger, and an updated art style. However, it is noticeably slower than the first and doesn't quite play as well, so if I'm to recommend either of the Nidhogg games, it's definitely the original one. Sticking to the theme of slicing and dicing your friends to bits, this time we got Boomerang Fu, a frantic, brawling physics party game that, as the name suggests, features a lot of boomerangs. However, what the name doesn't suggest is that they would be wielded by sentient food items that wish to cleave their fellow foodies in twine. If you're seeking chaos and a game that anyone can manage, once again, it's quite a simple experience, this is an excellent suggestion because you truly only need 1 stick and 3 buttons to lose your friends. It also features the option to team up against the game's rather difficult or maybe rather easy AI, depending on how good you are, or you can fight for the golden boomerang in the alternate game mode. But you'll probably have a lot more fun making your friends eat boomerangs on repeat. Boardgame Arena. Look, I don't know if this game is cheating, but the primary objective of this video is to bring people together and have them play games. So welcome to Boardgame Arena. It's a website that you really ought to know about because frankly, it is a life hack. It is a wide collection of damn near every board game I could think of that features full access and the ability to host rooms and play board games with your friends remotely. There are over 1,000 games that you can play with your friends, all featuring extensive tutorial videos to help you work them out. And hear this out, most of the games are also free, with some of them requiring a premium membership. But the best of all, only one of you in the entire party need to own a premium membership to host the lobby, and then you can play anything, and everyone else can join you without paying. Slapstick brawler games are just a golden time all around to play with people on the couch. The 2 I would go ahead and recommend are Party Animals and Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts is a bit older, but it's really the game that put drunken sandbag brawlers on the map, and as of the end of 2024 is still finding itself with plenty of updates. Party Animals, on the other side, takes all of the ingredients of Gang Beasts and then throws them into a blender, adds a bit more of a modern look, and spits out one very important change. Cute fucking animals. It has so many cute animals, but you probably won't find the corgi overly cute when he overhead presses you and proceeds to toss your lifeless corpse into a load of toxic gas. But hey, trust me, these games are all just brilliant, and you'll be playing them for a long time. If you're a fan of Pokemon, this one right here is for you. Here's Cassette Beasts, which takes the premise of the aforementioned Pokemon and runs with it all the way to the bank. Nostalgia, retro technology being repurposed, and sweet co-op fun, this game really has it all. After washing up face down on the sandy beaches of New Wirral, the residents of your newly discovered island report having trouble with strange beasts that seem to be inhabiting the lands. And now, you are tasked with fighting them off using what I can only describe as video game bullshit science and cassette tapes that allow you to transform into and record monsters. This game takes the familiar, nostalgic formula and creates something new. The classic monster collecting, turn-based combat, elemental weakness systems, they all rear their head once again. But what makes them so much deeper is this game's excellent combination system. You can take 2 monsters of any kind and slam them together to create a fully new animated form, and I feel really sorry for the poor artist that had to draw every single one of those sprites. Do you like games that you'll basically never be able to finish? Well, say hello to Terraria. If you've never played it, you'd say it's a Minecraft ripoff, but no, we don't need any of that nonsense, buddy. I mean, look, it is a sandbox game where you'll do a lot of mining and a lot of digging, but you'll also do a lot of dying and fighting bosses and then dying some more. Maybe it is like Minecraft. It's a labor of love, and it's a must-play for anyone that enjoys sandbox games. There is just so much in this experience that it is one of the few games that I won't go full elitist on you and judge you with very prolonged eye contact if you were to Google how the shit to do the thing. Dig, fight, explore, steal your your friends' shit and then go die in a deep underground expanse somewhere, man. This game's still just getting content. It recently had its 10th year anniversary and people still rave about it for good reason. And if you want to know why, hey, maybe play it. The Escapists 2 sounds like it's a game about being Houdini, but no, it's really not. It's about you pulling your own Alcatraz escape as you attempt to bust out of the world's toughest prisons with your gang of up to 4. This game will see you getting a light-hearted look into the everyday prison life as you conform to the prison's rules, attend a roll call, do your usual prison job, and follow strict routines, all the while secretly engineering your bid for freedom by plotting and stealing useful items right under the guards' noses. If you don't feel like being a part of a prison break team and you'd rather turn this one competitive, well, good news, there's also a versus mode that lets you turn breaking out of prison into more of an Olympic sport if you'd feel like that. This game is a damn blast with friends and I'd highly recommend it, which is a bit redundant to say seeing as this is a list of recommendations. But next game, Nobody Saves the World is easily one of the best co-op roguelites going. I mean, the game itself is also just brilliant, but it is made so much better with the local co-op option. Using the art of transformation and a magic wand, Nobody, aka you, the game's titular character, will set off on an action RPG adventure where you'll take on the forms of various entities from bees to ghosts, maybe robots, dragon, horses, I don't know, anything really. Each form with their own unique gameplay mechanic and abilities that you'll get to mix and match to create a forward, moving, marching whirlwind of destruction that takes many forms. This is a game with plenty of replayability. If you're not sick of it with its 15-hour-ish content run, there is unlimited dungeons and a new game plus. It is a game that is full of character and fun, and it's just perfect for a group of 2 on the couch if you just want to absolutely kick some stuff, or maybe just turn into a horse and run people over with your hooves. Little moments of clumsy brilliance is the best way to describe this next entry. And as the name would suggest, it's all about having 2 legs, because you're a robot that does in fact have 2 versatile problem-solving stumps, and you'll have to use them to work in tandem together, or maybe I should say somewhat struggle in tandem together to solve problems and help each other along the way, because hey, it's a simple fact that 4 legs are better than 2. That's exactly why humans who have 2 legs rule the world and dogs don't, but yeah, 4 legs are better than 2. This game might have made me angry because, you see, you control your robot's legs individually with different inputs, and that makes this baby's first QWOP. I can't believe I'm referencing QWOP twice in one video, as even just moving around can be pretty hilarious altogether. This is a brilliant designed little puzzler, perfect for 2, that has a skill requirement anyone can enjoy. It's never too hard, and it's never too easy, it's just right. Now, if you're of a certain age and the ravages of time have started giving you left jabs, you won't have to look too far for the inspirations behind Nikoderiko, the magical world. But just in case you're not yet beaten down by time, this one is like a smash together of Donkey Kong Country and Crash Bandicoot in all the right ways. It's constantly jumping between 2D platforming and sections of what I can only describe as third-person crashing. You'll be controlling 2 treasure hunters named Nico and Luna on their typical tale of evil barons wanting to destroy islands and all that. But once again, I don't even know if I care. The gameplay, the gameplay is where it sells. It's packed to the nines with color, charm, character, good bosses, and solid platforming. This is a brilliant new coat of paint on some of the classics and is a brilliant way to relive the past or to drag someone new along for the ride if you don't feel like playing Donkey Kong Country for the 60th time. Chicory, A Colorful Tale is a top-down adventure locked inside a vibrant color book world that tosses aside the usual doom and gloom of the video game narrative and instead opens the window to the fresh airs of creativity. Chicory is a game that has many layers of love, and that is not surprising when you realize it's by the creators of Wondersong, with a soundtrack from the artist behind Celeste's bopping soundtrack itself. Gifted with the magic brush and painting powers, you'll be exploring the world, solving puzzles, and most importantly, slapping a coat of paint around and drawing on whatever you'd want. It's a game with surprising depth, with every piece, or should I say layer of paint, coming together to form so much more than the cozy drawing game that it presents itself as. If you like puzzles, arts, and games that are just a little different, Chicory should be the one that you take away from this list. I did not really expect to find a gem when I was invited over to a board game night with people that I barely knew, but when they busted out Night Squad 2, I was reminded exactly what makes co-op and free-for-all fighters great. Simplicity and violence. Night Squad nails that to a T. Action-packed arcade madness that is all about scattered power-ups around a map and a single attack button. These power-ups all but make the combat system of the game. For instance, collecting multiple swords makes your attack range longer and thus that much more deadly when everyone dies in a single hit. Of course, unless you have a shield power-up or you've managed to grab yourself a horse to blitz around. From free-for-alls to King of the Hill and boatloads of other game modes, I promise you anyone can and will enjoy this title. It is so simple, but it's hard to master and it's an incredibly fun time for all skill levels. Split Fiction. I don't think there's a better game to end this list on. It is a game that followed on from It Takes Two, which I considered to be the best co-op game out since its release, and so did critics, seeing as it won the Game of the Year award. And when you climb so high, it is very easy to fall, so it's safe to say that Hazelight Studio had an incredibly tall task ahead of them in order to live up to the expectations that we set after It Takes Two. And their new game, Split Fiction, didn't only manage to live up to the heights, but in many ways, I think it managed to surpass it, thus making it, in my opinion, the best co-op title out. And, of course, an absolute must-play, because anything that even gets as close to their previous games already means that it is the cream of the crop. It has pretty much everything I think you want from a co-op game, featuring interesting setting-shifting set pieces that constantly snap between fantasy and sci-fi, to just an absolute overabundance of fun level with constantly changing mechanics to keep you engaged along its 13-ish hour runtime. Hazelight Studio is an absolute gem who continues to master the co-op formula. It really just goes to show what a specialized studio can accomplish once they find their tune. And whilst I do think the writing in this game is not as good as It Takes Two, I do think the absurd level and the variations in the gameplay, along with the absolute just abundance of charm, make it the cream of the crop. Well, my friends, that brings us to the end of yet another list, and if you like hearing me yap about video games, or just, talk in general, make sure you follow the channel. It'd be really nice to see you back here. And until next time, whenever that happens to be, I'll see you again soon. Bye.